Good fella. How you doing, Tony? Pretty good. Bill.
How's Tony?
What are you doing, Mr. Marshall?
Mr. Marshall.
Mr. Marshall.
Morning, Chief.
Morning there, Mr. Co-Commissioner. Pretty good.
Mike, how you doing?
President County.
Good. Better than the alternative.
Exactly.
Maybe.
You, Mr.
But it's all here.
Oh, is it? We're gone.
We got a more on those, so we'll go ahead and get started.
Okay. All right.
I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. Good morning, everyone. Phil, would you lead us in the pledge? Mr. Adams, prayer.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the glorious day you blessed us with. As we move forward here, guide, guard, and direct us as we make decisions for our county services. Please protect all our employees, all the people surrounding this service, and as we go forward, just help us to make the best decisions possible. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
All right, Tony, we'll just start right out with you and let you get things rolling here.
All right. Well, for the month of June, our total deposits for what we brought in was $86,631.77, plus the stipend of $28,907.76, give us a total of $115,539.53. Our total runs for June was 217. That was 93 ALS, 62 BLS. We had 48 AMAs, or against medical license or refusals, and then we had 14 which was canceled runs or seen deaths. Again, that was total 217 for the month of June. We got took 622, which was the truck we've been having the transmission issues with, or the shifting problem. We took it to Gill Scraps. They serviced the transmission. Said when they serviced it, they didn't get any, they didn't see anything wrong with it. They didn't get any metal Chevys or anything in the pan or anything like that. They went ahead and they changed the fluid, serviced the transmission. We put it back, when we put it back in line, we're using it as a front line truck. Seems not to be having any issues. So it seems to be, I mean, it still shifts kind of hard to say. I think that's just the nature of that truck. My truck does the same thing, so shifts a little odd, but I mean, it seems to be holding its own and seems to be doing all right. So it's back to a front line truck now. So that's what we're doing there. Got some information from St. Vincent regarding those transfers. It's going to be increasing here coming up next month. I did get Donna Cassidy sent me a file. That was a rather long file. I've got it right here with their stuff that they sent me. If you guys, I sent a copy to Todd. If I was going to ask everybody else if you want a copy of it, I can get it. Probably better for me to email it to you. It's a rather large file, and that way you guys can open it up and read it and look through it. There's really not, the information information, but they had to sign an agreement to get that information. So it's kind of, I have to keep that private as far as that information goes from them. But it's basically, I looked through a lot of it, and a lot of it is just stuff that really doesn't concern us when it comes to the transfers. Like I said, you guys can look through it, and got any questions, give me a call, or we can get a hold of Donna, or whatever we need to do there. And we were awaiting approval from the council as far as that increase in on-call pay went. I just found I already had these prepared prior to yesterday, and I found out yesterday that they had tabled it again.
If I may, there, kind of reminded me of this yesterday, but, well, you were at the council meeting. They had decided to address that at budget time. And I forgot about that, but that's what they did decide.
Is that okay?
Yeah, so, which is next month, so, wasn't that right? That's the way I understood it. Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of the council wanted to wait.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's probably due to the, we need to see where we're at on everything before we move forward.
I know that's not what we wanted to hear, but then, yeah.
They just felt a little more comfortable about, we'll know a little bit more, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, by the time that meeting happens than we did before.
Isn't that like middle of August?
Yes, our budget hearing started
Yeah.
13th, I believe it started, in the 15th of August through the 18th, I believe. So, yeah, hopefully at that time then, we'll have a little more information and know kind of where we stand. And then, hopefully at that time that'll be something maybe we can put into play. That's kind of the game plan.
I was speaking with one of the other commissioners the other day, and we were talking about this on-call rate, and if you ask anybody on the street or whatever that knew anything at all about public safety, and you said, well, we're paying $3.15 an hour for on-call. That's not enough.
No.
I mean, I wish it could be $10, but, we do need, I think we need to bump it up, because, well, it's just not enough.
No, it's not. It's not. So. But I was just, like I said, I know that St. Vincent, that the calls have been increasing as far as getting, wanting transfers done.
Yeah.
And again, we're in a situation where, some we can do, some we can't.
August 1st, it's going to get worse, because that's
When did they say that
August 1st.
their deal with seals was done?
August 1st.
I believe it's August 1st. I had talked to Jim Freeman about, the contract. He sent me an email. I talked to Pam as well, his wife, and Jim sent me an email, and I think he addressed it to you guys too when he sent it to me, about the hospital, and me and Todd was over there, and she was talking about fair market values and things of that nature, and Jim wrote me a letter back saying that, we should, charge the full price, and then if they demanded some type of a rate or something, the hospital did, that don't go below the Medicare allowable rates, which, we're not going to do that, but I'd rather it much be higher than Medicare allowable rates, because it's just the fact that, what we've got to do to accomplish, the the transfers to do it. I haven't heard anything from her as far as, you know, any kind of money situation or anything like that. That's not when, that was kind of what I was hoping would have been in that file that she sent me. There wasn't anything in there about that at all. So, I had also talked when Dr. Yazel was here. He had talked to me and said he was going to ask some people about, contract type situations like that. He sent me an email back and said that the contacts that he had fallen through, and he wasn't able to make either contact with them or something happened. But he said he was still going to try to help me out, and he was still going to try to see what he could find out. But I haven't heard anything back from him. That's been about a week ago that he sent me the email that the contacts he had fallen through. So it's just kind of having to wait on that. But I also called the Indiana EMS Association. They're an organization that you have to be in their organization. You have to pay the dues, and their dues are based on how many trucks you have. They're kind of a little pricey on their dues, but they're just basically a resource that you can call them up and they can maybe resource your question out to somebody else. I really don't think that, for paying them what they want to pay on the due side of it, it's really not worth it to us to do that. It's not a requirement by no means. It's just an organization that that somebody came up with to help. So, but I talked to them about, if they do any type of contract situations, and of course they're from up north, and they didn't really offer a lot of guidance or a lot of anything on that, really, the guy I talked to. So
Did they say what their dues were?
it's based on the amount of trucks. I think on our amount of trucks, I think it was going to be like $1,500 or $1,600 a year. Yeah. So it was kind of, like I said, they based it on how many trucks is in your service.
So when you spoke to this guy, did he try to sell you on the fact that you need to be we need to be a member of his organization, and tell you some of the benefits that they might have, or what's the advantage to getting hooked up with them?
Not really. I mean, he just told me that, if we were a member of the organization, and, they might have some resources that they could offer, as far as just, kind of lost words there.
Legal advice, maybe?
Yeah, well, no, not really, not legal advice. They're not that type of organization. They're just more of a resource that you can use to go to if you got questions, about things. They're kind of like the EMS Commission in a sense that they're gonna, they don't regulate anything like the EMS Commission does, but the EMS Commission same way. They're not gonna give you any kind of legal advice. Every time that I've ever asked the EMS Commission over the years of questions like that, their response back is refer to your local protocols. So that's kind of where you stand there, but they're just not in that. That's just not what they do. They're not gonna. As far as the contract goes with the hospital, I was hoping Dr. Yazel would have had a contact that he would have been able to provide to me, but like I said, it fell through for right now. So that's all I can do right now is just kind of wait and see if he gets back with me to see if he's found somebody else. That's a good resource with him. So hopefully he can find something where he can give me a call or get a hold of him and tell me what he's found out. So We also have a truck, the newest truck we have, 0825, gonna have to take it to Middlebury, Indiana next Wednesday. It's got an oxygen leak in it somewhere. We'd called him up on the phone last week and told him about the leak, and we kind of worked over the phone, me and Mike, and they were kind of guiding us through on what we could do to check for the leaks. We took the connections, we checked all the connections that we could see, we could find, and we couldn't find the leak. So it's got a leak in it that is draining off. It's draining off about every 3 days. So the leak is probably somewhere in the line, according to the manufacturer, somewhere in the line that we can't get to. And he said that when they go to pull the lines, that's a job. So, but it would be under warranty, so that's not going to be an issue. As far as I know there, the only issue is getting it up there. And so we're going to take it up there Wednesday. Their hours are they got kind of odd hours. They start at like 5 o'clock in the morning and they shut down at 2:30 in the afternoon. So I told them, I said it would probably be, around noontime before we could get it up there. That's about a 4.5 hour drive up there, 4.5 to 5 hours, especially maybe with the construction zones. So we're going to take it up there Wednesday, and we're going to, Mike's going to follow, Mike's going to drive it, I'm going to follow him, and that way, just in case we have to leave it, we'll have to way back home instead of having to thumb it.
I say you better plan on leaving it. I doubt, we'd be real lucky if they could fix it in 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, that's what I told him. He told me, he said, no, he said, our goal is that you bring it up here and you get it in, you get it out, and it's done. I said, well, you close at 2:30. So I said, that's gonna be tight. He said, well, if we have to have somebody stay over, we'll have somebody stay over. So hopefully it's just a 1-day excursion. Hopefully it's just drive it up there, get it fixed, and drive it back. But just in case, I want to take somebody else. I don't want to be up there stuck up in northern Indiana for the night. So. But that's about all I have as far as what I've got today. Like I said, everything else has been going rather smoothly, as far as I know. Any different? So, but other than the transfer situation and that on-call thing, I've talked to everybody up there, and was telling them, I said, if we could get this on-call pay increased, how do you all feel about, picking up on-call? And for the most part, it was a positive response. There's some guys that just are probably not going to be able to do it just because of where they live. But for the most part, it was a positive response that they said that they would, pick up more if the pay was increased. So I'm trying to, because right now, the time frame, that's why I was hoping that we kind of went through, and that way I could have prepared a little bit more for it. But my hands are kind of tied right now because there's no way, everybody knows it. We can't do it on our current situation. We can't do it on 2 trucks. We have a difficult time taking the emergency runs on the emergency transfers on 2 trucks. So, we're kind of at a standstill as far as that goes, because I don't know what St. Vincent's going to offer. No idea.
Well, the main thing is, when the time comes and we sit down with them, and tell them what we require,
Right.
that we're ready and we know what we want, we know the amount. Because my understanding was that they weren't gonna tell us what they required. It was up to us to come up with a rate, and it's just like Jim Freeman had said. I mean, I don't know how much more fair you could be if we're just billing basically the non-pays and the non-collectibles, and maybe a small additional fee over and above that. I mean, we're not asking for the world. I don't know how much more fair you could be, and I could just about guarantee you, if the truth was known, that it would be a heck of a lot less than what they were paying seals.
Yep.
But we'll never know that.
Right.
I don't really care to know it anyway.
Right.
But we know what we need in order to take on the additional work, and you know, we can't work for free.
No. So, I mean, I'll try to get into contact with her again, and see if, maybe we can get something set up, or we could run over there again, or she could come somewhere where we're at, or we could go over there and maybe, I don't know if she's got the actual authority to do that or not. Probably not. I'm sure it's probably going through their attorneys, I'm sure, as far as the setting up a contract or a rate, I'd say. So,
Yeah.
I'll send her an email today and ask her about it and see if she's heard any more about it, or see what I can find out, and I'll get a hold of you and let you know something, what I can find out some more. So I mean, the time frame's ticking down, so they called us the other day. I mean, we're trying our best to accommodate them. I mean, they called us the other day. They had a transfer that was going down to Floyd, and a guy had come in with chest pain and was diagnosed with basically, you know, what they call a non-STEMI MI or heart attack. And they called their SEALs, and SEALs told them, this was on, I think, Tuesday, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. SEALs told them that we'll get to it week on Thursday. So, you know, and at the time we were heavy, we didn't have an available truck to do it, and we told them, say, you know, let's see, if we can get a truck together, we'll come over there and we'll do it. And that's what we've been trying to do. But, you know, like I said, sometimes we can accommodate it, sometimes we just can't.
Well, we're just kind of in a transition period until well, the middle of next month, and as long as it's going on, I know we'd like to get something resolved sooner rather than later. But this has been a long process, and we just want to make sure that when we do present them with the numbers, that they're numbers that we know we can live with, and that we're not going to go in the hole. So we'll just do our homework and be ready for when the time comes. Okay, you have any questions?
Well, I mean, do we have any record of what kind of agreement we had with them in the past when we done all their transfers?
No. There was never an agreement. We just did the transfers because we was getting service.
Kind of the general.
Then it got to where it was getting to be more and more of no insurance, no pay, traveling to Indy, 2 trucks couldn't handle it. 911 was dropping, and the decision was made, Philip was here, the decision was made to
let them find their own service to do transfers, because we was losing 911 coverage, and the council commissioners, I didn't want the liability for 911's not getting covered. It seems like we get busy, our surrounding counties get busy, and there's nobody got an ambulance to come in. Just the nature of the beast. All right, I got one question to you, Bubba, is what is the council needing as far as information? If they can't make a decision, what are they basing this on right now? Is there information they need from us? Is there?
No, I mean, I think I think the majority of the council is waiting to see where we're at countywide with our investment or what we get from the state. You know, so that all happens around budget time. I think our first, what was it, the 14th or something, the state will send our first, you know, amount of money that we're going to have budget-wise for the entire county, not just EMS.
So it's not a misinformation thing where they don't know?
No, I think they all understand. We've had lots of discussion about this, but I think it's just one of those things that they feel more comfortable making that decision once we kind of know where we're going to be countywide, budget-wise. So that's the, I think that's the holdup with most of them. And I understand that from an entire council position when you're trying to make everything fit. And that happens at budget time, and I think they were just felt a little more comfortable about making that decision once we kind of know where we stand. And that won't happen until we get into those budget hearings. So that we'll know a little bit more about where we're at going forward. So.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't anything as far as them needing more information and knowledge on your guys' end. It's what the state is going to end up. Right now, it's just guesswork, and you know, we don't want to make a commitment to something and then find out we don't have the means to support it financially. So it's nothing on your guys' end. It's just this time of year, as we get toward 1st of September, then we know how much money we're going to receive. Right now, it's just all speculation. You know, we think we might get X amount of dollars, but we don't know for sure, and we don't want to overextend ourselves. You know. I know it's frustrating. I do know that.
Yeah, because just hearing things, I heard comments about there's certain people around, or people think that we should be able to break even in EMS or have a profit. Well, that's never happened in this. It's never, ever happened, and it's not going to happen unless the building changes. That's what I was wondering. There was need more information from us, that we can come back and work with Kyra and get more information, because it just ain't going to happen. It never has.
Right.
And I didn't know if maybe, I know we got some younger council members that ain't, not been around a block a time or two, that they was maybe thinking that. It was like, we can get the information if that's what they need, and I'm more willing to jump in and get the information. It's not that hard to get them what they need. That's why I was asking if they needed more information or not. That was maybe the holdup.
I think they understand the need for the increase. I don't think that's a question. But like I said, it comes down to, and it's not just EMS, it's a county as a whole. So when we're looking at those things, that happens at budget time, and that kind of gives us a good idea about where we're going to be for next year. And I think they just felt more comfortable about maybe approving that increase once we know where we stand. Because at this point, like Todd said, it's kind of all just a guess. We don't really know for sure exactly what we're going to get from the state. And it's that way every year. It's not every year there's something like this that comes up, that we know we need to do this for any of the departments, and it does make you feel a little more comfortable about your decision once you know what you're getting from the state. So, kind of like setting your own personal budget. You know, you're not gonna go buy a new car, even though I feel like all of you should buy a new car. But you're not gonna do that until you know what your budget's gonna be, what your pay's gonna be, and that all happens for us, you know, around that budget time. So that gives us a good indication on where we're at going forward with all departments, you know. So that's kind of I think that's the concern. So
It's kind of like Councilman Ben Bowling said one time, we're really not on a yearly budget. It's a year and a half.
yeah,
It just seems like that's the way it is, because you know, what we're doing here in the next month is you know, it's going to affect us for the next 2 years, you know. So it's not really an annual budget. Sometimes it's kind of a year and a half type budget thing. So
Just like Tom was saying, come August 1st, we just had some of the questions, if there's anything we can do to maybe speed that up or get something changed, because August 1st, our phones are gonna start blowing up. And I'm sure if we don't satisfy them, you guys' phones are gonna start blowing up. Because the way I understand it, Seals is leaving August 1st, they're not gonna renegotiate according to the board's work over there. They're pulling them out.
They terminated the contract.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna renew it, so.
So they'll be,
They were actually wanting to terminate it in May, so, and they got together and went to August, which neither here or there in my book, really. They wasn't really doing, they really wasn't doing what they're supposed to be doing anyway.
this could be a blessing in disguise. It might be even such a thing that come August 1st, you know, in this transition period until the decision's made and we get an agreement with them, that, you know, if you can muster enough to get the third truck, you know, on a part-time basis, you know, this might be an opportunity for maybe a trial basis, if we can take a few more calls and that you can get the extra help, and then, you know, we're only talking, you know, a month or so before, you know, hopefully decisions made and this all gels, so to speak. So that might be something you want to think about, you know, because we certainly don't want to leave, you know, I don't think so much in terms of what the hospital wants or even what we want or what you guys want. I think about the needs of someone whose life's in danger. That's what I think about. And I know you do too. That's the bottom line.
Bottom line, that's what it is.
We're just going to have to take it a day at a time until we get something in writing and get something in the form of an agreement and get that extra crew.
One other thing I forgot to mention is when I was on the phone with Crossroads about that truck that was leaking oxygen, I asked them about that other truck that they were supposed to deliver, and that date has now went out even further than what it was before. Now they're saying it probably will not be available until May next year. So.
And the original date was
Original date was
already supposed to have had it.
already supposed, yeah, January or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was pushed out quite a bit, but yeah, now they've even pushed it out to May next year. I told him, I said, our CARES money, we gotta have that spent by what, the end of next year? So I told him, I said, it's gonna be close. Because come May of next year, I got a feeling it's gonna be, well, we're gonna have to push her out to December or January, so. Yeah, it's just, I've never seen,
Are we locked into Crossroads only? Are we locked into Crossroads only?
I don't believe so.
Well, I mean, other ambulance services.
Yeah,
There's David Knoll up here. He was 49,
Yeah,
and he didn't have no problem.
right.
And he's buying from 3 different companies. Why are we locked into Crossroads? There's other suppliers out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I want to make sure, because I had to make sure that, there wasn't some type of contract or something that was signed with them prior to doing that, because, if it's not, then we're not obligated to buy from them, as far as I know.
I do some checking around.
Yeah, I'll do that. I did talk to a guy, spent a couple months back, from Penny Care. They've got an ambulance division that they got, and he said at the time, he said they were having issues as well with the manufacturers, like with Ford, and, but he said that he had one available, but it was a diesel. And of course, that would have been, and it was, and that was the only truck that he had available at the time that they could bring down and say, here you go, sure.
I do some checking around.
I'll do that. Yeah, there's a lot of other places out there.
They may not be nothing you want. They may be in the same boat, but there's other companies not having this problem.
Oh, yeah.
But it seems like we've always been at their beck and call of how we do this.
Yeah.
Excuse me for interruption.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll do that. I'll get to checking around, and, like I said, I was unsure if when that one was purchased, if there was a contract or something purchased for the other one, or, if they had to put like a down payment on it or something like that. So if that's not the case, then we're not obligated in my book, so.
You're the director out there. You gotta run it the way you wanna run it.
Yeah,
And look around and see what your other options are.
I'll do that.
Doesn't have 350 or 450.
450s.
Well, I know some of those heavy-duty chassis have been hard to get.
Right.
I mean, we're having the same issue with, any kind of utility type vehicle. Just like yesterday, they were supposed to open the order bank again on heavy-duty chassis trucks at 350 and above.
Well, what is it? Is it the computer chip issue? Is that the issue, or is it something else?
No, it's just the demand is greater than the supply.
Right.
What's happened since they've slowed all this ordering down, everybody has, everybody and anybody that wanted to buy that kind of chassis has went ahead and put in orders. Well, there are only certain times you can order. This wasn't a problem in the past. In the past, you could walk in there today and order anything you wanted. Now, how long it took to get it would depend on the availability. But now they have limited the dealers. There's only certain times when you can order stuff. And they may keep, like, just for an example, they did order the bank on Broncos yesterday, but it lasted 2 hours. In 2 hours, they got the allocated amount of chassis they thought they could build the Bronco on. So within 2 hours, it closed. So anybody that didn't make their order in just has to wait till the next time they open up that allocation.
Yeah.
And that's happening with those trucks. So I know that's been an issue, and that's probably part of the issue with the supply would be getting the chassis.
So Ford's went to made to order instead of made to stock like they used to.
Pretty much all the manufacturers have went to that. And it's not just the chip issue, it's just the supply of certain things. I mean, it's the same way with some of these parts to fix that. We've got vehicles sitting there, been sitting there for 2 months waiting on a sensor. You're at their mercy. So they can either get them or they can't, and that's kind of where they're at. And I know it's been that way with those chassis. So I'll do a little more research on those chassis just to see if there's, you know, any kind of hold up there. But I know it has been an issue. So that may be part of the problem if they get backed up. Because we're dealing with the same thing on a lot of different things.
Well, I'll get to looking around and,
You might check
see,
some other,
see,
other
yeah.
suppliers.
Kyra, do you know right off the top of your head what that, how much that was allotted for that truck, do you know, right off the top of your head?
$207,869.
There you go.
There you go.
How many cents, Mike? How many cents?
Oh, no.
Oh, no, oh my God.
That was the biggest check I ever had in my hand, and I didn't look like it. It's exactly the same for the next one.
Good one, I think, Todd.
It's that Franklin Township schooling you got.
He don't wash his hands. He
Yes.
wrote it down on his hand and he don't wash.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
I had to use my
No.
seat, man.
Hey, we do need to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
We do need to do that.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
On what Tony said, would it not be cheaper to schedule with them on that oxygen leak and send the truck up the night before and let the guy stay all night rather than send two vehicles up and take both the director and assistant director out of play? You know, leave it one here to take care of the situation and motel stay. You can stay cheap.
Well,
On the back.
I mean, I bet
Just drive one truck.
Yeah, with both of you gone, I agree with Phil.
Just use your PNC card.
I mean, you could stay all night and be there at 5:30 in the morning if you schedule with them so they can get in and look at it. It's only gonna take them a couple of hours. And then drive back the next day.
Well, that's, yeah, that could be,
And it'd save two men going up, staying around doing nothing.
well, you know, take a little mini vacation every once in a while.
I don't wanna leave two of the best out of the county.
Will your bike fit in the back of that ambulance?
I can make it, I can make it, yeah. I go down and get a U-Haul trailer, figure it out.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, it's something to think about anyway.
Yeah, all that, yeah. We can do that.
Got a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of last month's meeting. Is there a second?
Make a motion. Second.
Second by Phil. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Thanks, guys.